didn't choose Jesus, he chose you. See, what happened was Jesus was knocking at your door.
That's right.
No, not the door where you live at over in Northeast, Southeast, and in Maryland. He was knocking at the door to your heart.
That's right.
And for years, you wouldn't open up and let him in. For years, you was running, you was doing your thing. You was out on the floor doing the two-step. You was at the club doing your thing. You was chasing skirts. You was chasing men. You were playing your numbers. And he was knocking, and you wasn't paying him no mind at all. He was trying to call you. He was trying to get your attention, but you was too busy caught up in your own thing. You were hanging out with your favorite three people, me, myself, and I, and you ain't had time for the Lord. But he was still knocking, and you paid him no mind at all. But because he loved you so much, he didn't go nowhere.
Amen.
And you were doing your own thing. But one day you decided that I'm going to open up the door. And you opened up the door. He knocked, you opened up, and he came on in, and that's how you got saved.
Amen.
You never chose him. He chose you.
Amen.
Jesus said it himself in John 15:16. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. And then he says this. He said, and I have ordained you. Who? Me, Pastor? Yes. Little old you.
That's right.
He has ordained. What does that mean? He has anointed you. And he has appointed you to do service for him.
That's right.
That's what it means when he said, I have ordained you. Brothers and sisters, whether you understand it or not, you have been anointed and appointed by Jesus Christ himself.
Amen.
To do service. When it came about you, but when I was out in the world, I wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. How you listening to me? Y'all out there laughing, but I got some news for you. Newsflash, some of you not the sharpest knife in the drawer either. We don't have no geniuses in the house. No professors and Einsteins in the house. But that's all right, because God don't need a genius. He don't need a professor. He don't need an Einstein. He just needs you. God has needed you, and he's going to use you even though you may not be the sharpest knife. Say this to you right here. God ain't called you so he can lift you up. God ain't called you so he can make you look good. God ain't choose you to exalt you. God has chosen you so that he may be exalted. He's chosen you so that he may be lifted up. Well, how is that going to happen? Because you're going to serve God and you're going to look so good serving God. People are going to be like, I remember that dude when he was messed up, but look at him now. What happened? Jesus Christ came into his life. And you're going to serve God with your life. You're going to serve God with the gifts and the abilities that he's given you, and it's going to make him look good. Are you listening to me? See, the donkey was not used to bring attention to himself, but the donkey was used to bring attention to Christ. And so God want to use little old you so that you can bring attention to Jesus Christ. And so, brothers and sisters, even though the world don't know your name and they don't know who you are not no John. And because people got titles, they got positions, they got bigger houses, they got bigger cars, they got more money in their bank account, in the eyesight of God, they are no more important than you are. They are no more special than you are. God is not looking for those that are rich, famous, and successful in you. He's looking for those that have a willing heart to bow their heart down to the King of Kings and serve him. If you're willing to do that, brothers and sisters, God can use you in a mighty way. God can take an ordinary person like you to do extraordinary. You say, but Pastor, I don't know none of them people. I wasn't there when Gideon did his thing. I wasn't there when King David reigned. I wasn't there when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was in the fiery furnace. I was not there when Paul walked the face of the earth. I wasn't there when Timothy was pastor at Ephesus. That's stories from the Bible. I wasn't there. I didn't witness none of that with my own eyes. Well, I want to let you know something right now. A story that's in your generation right now. A story that you can witness with your own eyes. God took a young brother, a little black kid from the streets of Northeast Washington, D.C., a brother that was strung out on drugs, going around robbing people to support his drug habit. A brother that was disrespectful to his father. A brother that was out there sleeping with women that was not his wife. A brother that was out here doing anything that he was big and bad enough to do. And God took him and picked him up and cleaned him up and filled him up with his spirit. And God is using him in a mighty way today. Well, who is that? Pastor, you're looking at him right here. This is not a story from the Bible. This is a real life story in front of you. God has took somebody that was messed up like me, somebody that was jacked up like me, and now he's put him in front of many people so that he can use him in a mighty way. Come on now. If God can use a crack addict like me, an addict like me, an ex-alcoholic like me, he can use you as well. Look at your neighbor and say, even